What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Kevin to on YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are Turn. Motherfucker, they hooding outside. Big crib in it. Gang, hooding outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo, Russia do your thing, and chicks are standing the fuck up. Each day is ready to be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody bring you down. I'll start back. Never let somebody tell you you are, but also never put yourself in a position of alone. Stay humble. Let's get on the revolution of the movement. Keep Yahweh first. Coming to the Black Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. Alright. Today, motherfucker, they hooding outside. Big crib in it. Gang, hooding outside shit, man. Alright, gang. So, y'all know how I told y'all we're God's chosen people. You know what I'm saying? It's a war on black people in general. You know what I'm saying? From our own people to the white people to the Mexicans to any race. It's a war. So I got a Rico coming on to Little Baby. Now, I've been doing some studying this Rico, man. This shit is getting kind of tricky. You know what I'm saying? For Little Baby. Y'all see Little Baby done changed his label from 4PF to glass windows. They got these two cases on, I guess they trying to say Little Baby got a phone call where he putting tickets on people. And then you got these murder cases. We got the two kids that passed away. And we got this one person that supposedly was an informant, a snitch, passed away. So, Little Baby is probably going through a lot of shit right now. And at this point, man, I'm moving to the Bermuda Triangle. Let's get into this bitch. Shout out to Mario. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, the Little Baby Rico, man. Man, I didn't think this was gonna ever happen, but shit can happen.
Lil Baby is in serious trouble and it's starting to look like he may be cooked. Now, when I first saw the initial reports, the first tweets that were coming out, I was like, whoa, I gotta research this.
Damn,
honestly,
man.
It's looking like Lil
They
Baby
trying to lock
may be
up all the
indicted
niggas
with a Rico charge within the next 90 days. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell did Lil Baby do to get himself in this situation to begin with? Now, that's what I'm gonna be breaking down right now.
Tough
Lil
ass
Baby's rivals, the
situation,
Goodfellas, happen to be arch enemies of 4PF, right? And are currently in the process of being officially indicted on a Rico charge themselves. The major catalyst for this case was the tragic deaths of two young boys, Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman, who were just 13 years old. Now, these children lost their lives when the Goodfellas attempted to retaliate against 4PF, aka Lil Baby's group. The police say that Freeman was celebrating his 13th birthday on the day that he was killed. So it's an absolutely tragic situation. And good for the police for catching these people and putting them in jail, because that's where they deserve to be, just killing innocent young kids who are just, walking around doing their own thing. It's just sick, honestly. Now, this is where things get tricky, because Atlanta PD is blaming Lil Baby for this entire thing, stating that his reckless actions led to these young teens losing their lives. Lamont Freeman had just turned 13, 27 minutes before the gang violence tragically took him. And according to authorities,
you can't really
the violence
blame
was
Lil Baby
instigated
for all
by the
this
adults
shit.
in the city, specifically an Atlanta-based
If he
rapper
wasn't even
who made the choice to
part of
film a
it.
music video in a rival gang territory, fully aware of the risks. Now, this is the main reason why the police are trying to put Lil Baby down. They're saying, like, if you have issues with a rival gang and you're filming a music video in their quote-unquote territory, you essentially caused this to happen, right? It's a weird situation. It doesn't make a lot of sense. First of all, these gangs shouldn't even be claiming this territory to begin with. Now, the police allege that Lil Baby is to blame for the chain of events that led to the murders. The reason being is that he filmed a music video in enemy territory where he shouldn't have been to begin with. And the video video shoot was shot up as a result. The two people who were injured
you in somebody's territory and you niggas mad as fuck. That is kind of crazy. You flexing money on this shit.
Allegedly went back and took the life of a Goodfellas affiliate, Trevante Turner. After this, the Goodfellas retaliated, spinning the block on 4PF's territory, and in doing so, shot and killed the two 13-year-old boys. So that's essentially what went down and why they're blaming Lil Baby for this entire thing. This article reads, Woolfolk didn't name the Atlanta-based rapper, but an arrest warrant confirms he was Lil Baby, whose real name is Dominique Jones. The warrant says Jones is an affiliate of Four Pockets Full, aka 4PF, described by police as a criminal street gang involved in a long-running feud with Only My Family, OMF, a subset of the Goodfellas gang. Now, last May, Jones went to film a music video on the 2100 block of Urbana Street, an area known to be frequented by OMF members. Before the video shoot could take place, Jones and his associates were shot at by multiple assailants, the warrant say. Police said 3 people were injured in the shooting, and Lil Baby was nearly struck. Now, this is where things get even worse for Lil Baby, because law enforcement managed to round up all of the Goodfella members involved in the murders, arresting multiple individuals. But here's the tricky part. If the police know what one gang did, they also know what the rival gang did in retaliation. It is very rare for law enforcement to indict one group under a RICO without also going for the opposing side. And if you look at past cases such as YFN versus YSL, the police knew what each side did to the other, and both groups ended up facing RICO charges. The same logic is being applied here. Since the Goodfellas are being hit with a RICO charge, 4PF is likely going to be next. The case against Lil Baby is only growing stronger because in court, wiretaps were played that allegedly mentioned Lil Baby putting tickets, aka bounties, on people's heads. This is a significant revelation because, again, if law enforcement knows what one side did, they almost certainly know what the other side did too. Investigator Rico is on the stand. We are listening to wiretap calls. Someone mentioned that Lil Baby had tickets on some people's heads. Looking at police records regarding the murder of Trevante Turner, authorities officially classified 4PF as a criminal street gang based in the Oakland City neighborhood of Atlanta. They also directly identify Lil Baby Dominique Lil Baby Jones as a gang's leader. The death of Turner was found to be a result of violent conflicts that had been taking place in the preceding weeks between the various allied gangs that laid claim to the west side of Atlanta, including the Goodfellas criminal street gang and the Four Pockets Full criminal street gang, which laid claim to the Oakland City neighborhood of Atlanta. Both gangs are known to have historical conflict. However, the violent acts against individuals in each gang were reignited on May 14th, 2024, when the leader of 4PF, rapper Dominique Lil Baby Jones, chose to shoot a music video in the Dixie Hills neighborhood of Atlanta. The choice to shoot a video in the Dixie Hills location was problematic because 4PF and the resident gang members of the 2197 Vermena Street already have a contentious relationship due to the belief that the 4PF criminal street gang is responsible for the August 2021 death of their associate Marcus Big Mark Holland in August of 2021. Once the video shoot commenced, the set was met with a barrage of gunfire. 3 people were shot during the incident, and the gang's leader Dominique Lil Baby Jones was almost struck by gunfire. After the incident at the video shoot, a series of linked aggravated assaults and homicides took place in the following weeks between the two gangs. So once this happened, all hell broke loose, and the police were like, whoa, we gotta put a stop to this. Now, I believe Lil Baby knew that this was coming because I remember watching the interview he had with Lil Yachty, where he was talking about and explaining how 4PF was not a gang and that he was getting rid of 4PF because of what happened with Young Thug, and he just didn't want to associate himself with that whole situation. Authorities claimed that after the music video incident, 4PF went on a retaliation spree, ensuring that anyone who dared to go after Lil Baby paid the price. The police are treating every act of violence connected to 4PF as a gang-related activity, which further strengthens the Rico case. Authorities are claiming that after the music video incident occurred, 4PF went on a retaliation spree, ensuring that anyone who dared to go after Lil Baby paid the price. Now, the police are treating every act of violence connected to 4PF as gang-related activity, which further strengthens their Rico case. This pattern is not new. Law enforcement has been tracking 4PF's activity for a while now, especially since the case of 4PF Nate, a known associate of Lil Baby, who was sentenced to 40 years in prison for murder. During his trial, Davis, another suspect, cooperated with authorities and identified 4PF Nate as the shooter. scooter. Now 4PF Nate is on the left and Keontae Davis is on the right. The two are being accused of murdering a man who goes by the name of Jaquavius 44 Wilson, which is this guy right here. Co-defendant Keontae Davis appears to select and identify Mr. Nathan Benford during Davis's interview on the night of Davis's arrest. Detective Grandy showed Davis a picture from what appears to be Benford's Instagram account after Davis has supplied Detective Grandy with defendant's Instagram account username. However, prosecutors didn't just stop at convincing 4PF Nate. They added gang charges on top of the murder charge, officially tying into 4PF as a criminal organization. Davis's testimony was crucial in proving that 4PF was operating as a gang, which is exactly how RICO cases are built. Now, fast forward to today, and things have escalated even further. Wiretaps now suggest that Lil Baby was actively involved in ordering hits. Meanwhile, the Georgia Public Defender's Office, which handles gang-related cases, has confirmed that they are preparing for a RICO indictment against 4PF. According to legal sources, Lil Baby is expected to be indicted along with others. Now, this reads Sean Hoover, who manages the Georgia Public Defender's Council's specialized unit on gang cases, says his office is actively preparing for a racketeering indictment on the 4PF and OMF cases, and that he expects Lil Baby to be indicted along with the others. One of the biggest twists of this case is that Keontae Davis, the man who cooperated with law enforcement against 4PF, was recently found dead just 2 days ago. He was shot and killed in Atlanta. The timing of this murder is just honestly pretty crazy. This article reads, 27-year-old shot and killed in Atlanta's Lakewood Heights neighborhood. The Fulton County Medical Examiner later identified the man killed as a 27-year-old Keontae Davis. The shooting happened just more than half a mile from where police also responded Friday to a home where rapper Young Scooter allegedly ran from and injured his leg, later dying. Police did not give any indication that there was a connection between these two scenes. Now, it's unclear whether his death was ordered by 4PF as a retaliation for snitching, or whether it was a hit from Goodfellas for his involvement in their rival activities. But one thing is certain, the law enforcement is not happy with the escalating violence, and they are determined to put an end to it. At this point, it's obvious that these ongoing murders are only making things worse for everyone involved. With every new killing, the authorities are only gathering more and more evidence to build a stronger RICO case, and if Lil Baby and his crew truly wanted to avoid this, they should have stepped back and stopped engaging in violence. But obviously, that's not what Lil Durk did, that's not what Young Thug did. But now, it may be too late. These walls are closing in, and if you know the police are already building a case against you, why keep making it easier for them? Now, this is Marissa Veverito, who's listed as a so-called gang expert who plays a big role in this whole situation. Essentially, she goes undercover, blends in, gets close to the gang members, gathers intel, and then uses it against them in court. She actually testified today at the Goodfellas grand jury, and what she said in court has major implications for Lil Baby. So let's break it down real quick. Now, this is the Thugger Daily Twitter page, and they posted these 3 pictures of Marissa. This is what she looks like, so you can see why she was involved with all these gang members. It was probably really easy for her to just pop out, mix in with the group. But what's crazy is that she was really an undercover cop. Now, the Thugger Daily Twitter page reads, she blatantly lied on Thug and others to get him arrested. Lied like proven lies. She's making stuff up about Lil Baby now too. But Young Thug even put himself in this situation and said that she's the biggest liar in the DA office right now.
Alright, this investigation began with your looking at the Instagram page. Whose was that?
The Instagram page belongs to Keontae Sanders, also known as Midnight.
Okay. And while looking at that page, you found some direct message communications, one of which showed a disappearing message between Mr. Sanders and somebody named Mr. Smith.
Once I received his Instagram returns back, yes.
Okay, and then what did that message consist of?
It was a photo that Mr. Smith had taken of himself, but had put the word J-Shot across it and sent it in the disappearing message mode.
Now, here's the crazy part. Law enforcement was able to recover the messages even though they were sent in disappearing mode. Wow. You know how you think that if you send messages on Snapchat or all these other social medias that they disappear forever? Well, it turns out that they really don't. They stay there. The police, the feds have access to retrieve all the information that you're sending. Whatever you're sending on the internet, on a phone, is going to stay there. I'm sure they have access to retrieve it one way or another, and there's a lot of reasons why they are able to do this, because, you know, these companies are always going to work for the police. They're not going to work for the people. They're working for the police. I'm pretty sure they're legally supposed to be working for the police if the police ask them to.
Alright, this is what's coming out now is already admitted evidence. Is this the message that was sent?
It is.
And so that was March Octavius Smith send that to Mr. Sanders?
He did.
All right, now, what was significant about that to you?
All these thick
I knew
assholes,
that
man.
Jay Shot John Smith was a close associate of the leader of 4PF, Dominique Lil Baby Jones.
And 4PF, as you testified already, was a gang that you recognized as being in rivalry with the Goodfellas, and in particular the only my family subset of the Goodfellas.
And their associates, yes.
Okay. And how did you know this about John J. Shot Smith, that he was a member of 4PF? On his Instagram, he can be seen pictured with Mr. Jones. He frequents the area where the homicide occurred as well.
So essentially what's going on with Lil Baby right now is that he has one of his homies who's a part of 4PF, and this person happens to be in some beef. Now, whatever this guy does, regardless whether or not Lil Baby's involved in it, is going to tie back to Lil Baby because they're claiming the same scent. Now, they're treating this as a street gang. If a gang member goes out and does a crime, it's all going to fall back to the main guy. A lot of people are saying, well, first of all, it's not a street gang. Second of all, you shouldn't be tying his business back to Lil Baby or the other person.
So the music video, is that something that you've seen?
It is.
Where'd you see it?
I believe it was on the
Why you getting
YouTube
dick
account
down, hit
on
from the
Mr.
back,
Smith.
slobbing
All right,
everything
permission
you can
to
fucking find
publish
to get the
a
info.
brief clip of that video, Your Honor.
Greg.
All right.
No, I'm playing the
Now,
video.
Investigator Vivarito, if you'll look at the, monitor in front of you. Is this the music video that you were referring to?
I'd have to see the title of it.
This beat go crazy.
Dance about the video out?
Won't Problems music video?
Yes, that's the one I'm referring to.
All right. And there are certain shots of this video that are at the 1043 Spark Street location.
Yeah, one just flashed on the screen.
Okay, so we've already seen a portion of that then.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you saw this video, and then you saw that the artist that's depicted in this video, John J. Smith, was also the person depicted in the disappearing message. And on what day was that message sent?
Sent on June 30th. I believe it was read on July 1st.
Now, they even had a wiretap recording where one of the suspects claimed that Lil Baby had money on people's head. The prosecution played the recording where someone said that these folks got tickets on these people, with tickets referring to bounties for arrest, harm, or worse, right? When asked who was
They
putting out these
wiretapped
so-called
these
tickets, they said that they heard it was Lil Baby.
Oh, what's up? Man, them folks, like, come on, bro, you know what's gonna go on. Like, how the hell you can, you know what I'm saying? Ain't even like that, man. Them folks got tickets on a lot of these folks.
We just heard somebody say that these folks got tickets on these people. We know what's going on. First of all, who said that on the tickets?
The unidentified male that was being referred to as Unk.
And he's speaking with Mr. Sanders.
Correct.
And what, in your experience, do you know what tickets are?
A price on somebody's head.
What
You don't know that.
What do you mean on somebody's head? What's that?
Like a bounty.
Okay. To have them
So they
arrested?
trying to take to Summerland or some bullshit, bitch.
And who were they referring to in that portion of the call?
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on a lot of people's
Now,
heads.
this is where we go back to Young Thug and Vivarito's credibility, because if you don't remember, you didn't know she was a part of the YSL trial.
Mr. Sharp asked you a very specific question, and you seem to have answered it in a way that surprises everybody. So we need to get some clarity from you. Okay, so can you listen really carefully to what his question is and answer that question? And then if your answer is still the same, we need to ask some follow-up of you. I mean, okay.
Man, these motherfuckers work with the feds so fucking tough, man. They get beat down by the gangsters and beat down by the police officers. They get fucked by everybody at this point.
Correct. Or be a murder rap, be the homicide.
Correct.
Okay. Did he in fact beat a murder rap?
They saw that BBL, bitch. They went psycho, bitch.
I think he...
Go ahead and explain it now because the jury's not in here.
Yeah,
We're just
here.
trying to sort out what
I think, from my understanding of Mr. Stillwell back in that time, he was under the impression that the Donovan Thomas case had been, that they were going to beat it. Like, they were about to beat it, or was beat, or there wasn't going to be an issue. I didn't want to say that because I didn't know.
Well, that's good that you didn't.
Yes.
But that's not the question that he asked at the time.
Mr. Stillwell thought.
Okay, yeah, then no.
Now, listen very carefully to what he actually, I mean, that's not what he asked a minute ago, but you don't have, like, knowledge that nobody else has that he was tried for some other murder and got a hung jury or an acquittal. Right?
No, Your Honor. I just
Okay. So, Mr. Chart asked you, has he ever beaten one, and by beaten, I mean, gotten an acquittal or however he phrases it. What would your answer be then?
No, I just didn't know the specific outcome of it.
Capping and shit.
Has he even been tried for another murder? Okay, so don't say I don't know the specific outcome if he has never been tried for one other than the one he's on trial for right now, okay? You understand?
I don't know her thick
I
ass
just thought,
shit.
I didn't know if he meant it was dropped. That was all.
She must be at somewhere else.
That's not what was asked.
But that the person who's talking, she's lying. That's
I know that. I know that.
So I think that's clear that because at the time, Mr. Stillwell was on bond.
Oh, they were using on this. That's what I'm saying.
That is not anywhere near what he asked. He asked, has he ever been tried for and acquitted of murder? Being given a bond before a trial ever occurs is not a yes answer for has he ever been tried and acquitted.
And these niggas was some bozos. The whole
I know.
defense.
That's
The white people and the black people
I know.
bozos.
But
They tried it.
just now what he asked, we're just trying to figure out what it is she might mean. And are you then going to ask?
I'll ask about the bond next.
Okay. So if he asks about bond, then you can answer whatever you know about whether he was released on bond.
I thought he was respectful of his rights, right? That's all.
Okay. Does anybody need any more clarity on?
I definitely do, because I think I'm redirect.
Okay.
It becomes very relevant to ask the witness at the time he wrote those songs. Is it based on everything that you know and speaking to him and other people that if he believed he beat the murder?
I would not let you ask that because how on earth can she know what is in his head? I mean, you could ask it, but I would overrule it if objection were made.
Even the judge was frustrated with her, calling her out for dodging questions and being unreliable. Now, suddenly, she's a key witness in a case against Lil Baby, claiming he's the leader of 4PF, responsible for gang wars and putting bounties on people's heads. And apparently, the DA is taking
So she
her
was
work
lying the whole
seriously
damn
enough
time.
that the
Don't
public
know what the fuck
defender's
you're saying.
office is already expecting a Rico case against 4PF and Lil Baby within the next 90 days. Now, this is an absolute crazy situation. It's most likely going to be something similar to Young Thug. I'm pretty sure Lil Baby knew that this was coming. That's why he said those things on that Lil Yachty
He trying to
interview.
switch it
That's
up.
why he tried to dismantle 4PF before it got to this point, kind of to help his case when he does go to court and he does get hit with that Rico case. His lawyer's going to be like, Your Honor, 4PF doesn't even exist anymore. It was never a part of that. He never wanted to be in that situation. But what do you guys think about all of this? What are your guys' thoughts on the future of
That nigga need to
rappers
go to
creating
the
these
Bermuda
quote-unquote
Triangle at
music
this
groups that later become street gangs? Do you think it's going to end? Which I believe, if you're smart enough, it definitely shouldn't be a thing to begin with. And if you look at people like Drake, who has OVO, they don't really have as many street dudes because, first of all, Drake isn't even street at all, which is why a lot of people don't like him to begin with. But that's the problem with
Man, his
being a
name
criminal
dropped in
and also
XXX,
being a massively successful
Tatiana
rapper.
case.
Because now you got a lot of targets
A lot of
pointing at
shit
you,
happening,
you
bro.
got a lot of fingers pointing at you, you got a lot of eyes on you. And the police look at who's around you, they're going to be like, well, the rich guy is the one who's calling the shots, which is most likely the case in a lot of situations. I want to know what you guys think down below.
Shout out Rap Daily. Let's see what they got to say about Lil Baby situation.
This is the court proceeding where everyone began to understand that it's over for Lil Baby. Check this out.
I knew that Jay Shot or John Smith was a close associate of the leader of 4PF, Dominique Lil Baby Jones.
Jay Shot has just been revealed as Lil Baby's bulldog, doing his dirty work for him. But what's really shocking is how investigators link the two people together. Bombshell testimony exposes the trigger man. Atlanta Police Department's lead gang investigator, Marissa Viverito, took the stand in a proceeding related to the Goodfellas gang.
Goofy ass. He probably sucking all everybody BBC in that bitch.
The proceedings
Goofy ass.
revealed a key player allegedly operating as Lil Baby's trigger man, a dude identified as Jay Shot or John Smith. Court testimony established his direct connection to the 4PF set, allegedly headed by Lil Baby.
What was significant about that?
I I knew that Jay Shot or John Smith was a close associate of the leader of 4PF, Dominique Lil Baby Jones.
This wasn't just some casual association. Viverito's testimony specifically positioned Jay Shot as a key lieutenant with direct ties to Lil Baby himself. The evidence presented in court included recovered DMs that were never supposed to see the light of day.
Okay, and that, what did that message consist of?
It was a photo that Mr. Smith had taken of himself, but had put the word Jay Shot across it and sent it in the disappearing message mode.
What makes this evidence extra spicy is that it wasn't just discovered. It was recovered from what was supposed to be self-destructing communications that automatically deleted.
Man, when people gonna learn that they can get any type of information you can put out?
Being a criminal is so difficult, bro. And I hope all you criminals and street dudes is listening, bro. She just said that they recovered the messages that was sent in disappearing mode. Y'all be thinking that things like Snapchat and Instagram disappearing mode, those things are Fed-proof. They're not
They tracking all that
bro.
shit.
Being a criminal is so hard nowadays, bro.
You need smoke signals,
messages
bitch.
that quote-unquote disappeared on Instagram for you is still being hosted. And they was able to pull the messages that was sent in disappearing mode, self-snitching, and use it to indict them on a Rico. Oh, my. Yo, the streets is cold, bro.
But peep this, the testimony gets way more explosive. Investigators didn't just establish Jay Shot's connection to Lil Baby. They presented evidence suggesting he served as a trigger man, putting in work allegedly connected to 4PF's operations. The court introduced actual footage from a music video featuring Jay Shot that directly connected him to locations where bodies dropped.
So the music video, is that something that you've seen?
It is.
Where'd you see it?
I believe it was on the YouTube account belonging to Mr. Smith.
All right, and permission to publish a brief clip of that video, Your Honor.
Great.
All right.
You don't play a video.
Burrito. If you'll look at the monitor in front of you. Is this the music video that you were referring to?
I'd have to see the title of it.
Is Rico crazy? Jay Shot, Who Want Problems music video?
Yes, that's the one I'm referring to.
The title of this music video, Who Want Problems, hits different when considered alongside the testimony about Jay Shot's role and his connection to violence. The court proceedings then pinpointed the exact block featured in the video.
All right. And
damn, they giving out all the info, but sometimes you just don't even thinking like,
1043 Spark Street
fuck.
location.
Yeah, one just flashed on screen.
This precise location is mad important.
They should have knew it though. I ain't gonna cap.
Directly to the spot.
Trip, but you like you can't do shit.
Went down.
Stuck in a cage and you can't talk what you want to talk.
To the crimes that authorities are investigating. But the most fire revelation came when wiretap evidence was presented, capturing conversations discussing Jay Shot's alleged role in putting in work on behalf of 4PF. These intercepted communications revealed discussions of tickets, a term that Viverito explained has a very specific meaning in the streets.
And what, in your experience, do you know what tickets are?
A price on somebody's head.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean on somebody's head? What's that?
Like a bounty.
The testimony then directly connected these tickets or bounties to Lil Baby himself.
Okay. To have them arrested?
Harmed. Or killed.
And who were they referring to in that portion of the call?
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on people's heads.
Dominique Jones.
Man, he couldn't talk about a carnival ticket, bitch. Get some fucking corn dogs, bitch.
Creates a straight up devastating
meat chops and shit.
Jay Shot
Turkey
allegedly
legs.
operating as a shooter connected
Funnel
to
cakes
Lil
and
Baby,
shit.
putting in work based on tickets or green lights that Dominique Jones
They can get a new car or some shit. Like y'all
the
just
type of direct connection to bodies that DAs dream of when building Rico cases. For Lil Baby, who initially dismissed these allegations as cap,
two kids that died really was fucking
revelation
up.
of Jay Shot's alleged role and the evidence connecting him directly to Lil Baby represents a potential catastrophe. His legal team previously called the police's claims complete and total nonsense, but the specific evidence about Jay Shot introduces a concrete figure and tangible evidence that's much harder to brush off. The implications are no cap, as one commentator explained.
I hope you rappers is listening. This is such an eye-opener. If let's say you have a homie, right? And your homie, let's say he comes around, he's repping the squad 4PF, but your homie has some side beef, and your homie's got homies of himself. If your homie gets killed by, let's say, his ops, and then your homie's homies come back and kill somebody, and a gang war ignite, you're now the crime boss, even though you have nothing to do with whatever personal beef he has with those people and his homies is involved, you are now automatically involved because he's in your entourage and you brought him around and he's in the music videos and he's around you and he's banging for PF for the clout. You are now involved. And they're going to include you as a gang leader and say that you are the catalyst for a gang war that had nothing to do with you. These people cold, man.
This commentary highlights the exact situation Lil Baby now faces. With J-Shot allegedly operating as a triggerman connected to 4PF, any bodies J-Shot caught could potentially be attributed to Lil Baby as the alleged shot caller of the organization. The revelation about J-Shot's role and the evidence connecting him to Lil Baby represents the strongest foundation yet for the Rico case that authorities appear to be building. According to reports,
who manages the Georgia Public Defenders Council specialized unit in gang cases. So the public defenders who handle the gang cases for gang members who can't have attorneys because they can't afford it.
Right.
The public defender office just said the office is actively preparing for racketeering indictment on the 4PF and OMF cases, and that he expects Lil Baby to be indicted with others.
This prep by the public defender's office suggests that indictments.
Man, they got an arrow on that nigga back, bro.
Now exposed in court.
They got an arrow on Lil Baby back.
Include both him and Lil Baby, in what
Simple.
prosecutors would characterize as a criminal enterprise. Now, let's break down the specific evidence connecting J-Shot to bodies. Shooter's paper trail. The paper trail connecting J-Shot to violent incidents appears extensive and multifaceted. Court testimony established his presence at key locations through both surveillance and his own social media flexing.
He can be seen out there on his Instagram. He can be seen pictured with Mr. Jones. He frequents the area where the homicide occurred as well. He's filmed a music video out there.
This testimony creates multiple points of connection. J-Shot's presence at crime scenes, his direct association with Lil Baby through flicks, and his documentation of these locations in music video. It's a digital trail that places him directly in the mix where bodies drop. The music video evidence is particularly damning because it establishes premeditation. J-Shot wasn't just randomly posted at these locations, but deliberately filmed content there that prosecutors could say was pressing the issue. The title, Who Want Problems, could be interpreted as straight-up taunting obs. Beyond his physical presence, the recovered communications allegedly show J-Shot using disappearing message features to discuss sensitive business, a tech choice that prosecutors could argue demonstrates consciousness of guilt and attempts to move in silence about criminal activity. For Lil Baby, the revelation of J-Shot's alleged role creates a legal nightmare because of how Rico cases are built. Under Rico, shot callers can be held responsible for crimes committed by members of the organizations, even if the shot callers didn't directly put in work themselves, as police reports allegedly characterize the situation.
They want shooting death for Shabbat Turner, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you go all the way down, they talk about Lil Baby music video shoot getting shot up. Right. And they listed 3 people were shot during the incident. And now again, this is 4PF we're talking about here, right? They says, and the gang leader. I was just going to say, the gang leader, Dominique Jones, was almost struck by gunfire.
This official designation of Lil Baby as the gang leader in police reports, combined with the evidence about J-Shot's alleged role as a triggerman, creates the hierarchical structure that prosecutors need to establish for Rico charges. If J-Shot was indeed catching bodies on behalf of 4PF, and Lil Baby was the shot caller of 4PF, then prosecutors could potentially hold Lil Baby responsible for J-Shot's actions. The timeline of events also supports this narrative. The May 2024 music video shoot in Op territory, followed by the shooting death of Trevante Turner, allegedly by 4PF associates on June 29, 2024, followed by the retaliatory shooting that killed 2 13-year-old boys on July 2, 2024.
Wow, shit.
All create a chronology of escalating beef that prosecutors could characterize as a gang war with J-Shot as a key soldier and Lil Baby as the general calling shots. Making matters worse, the wiretap evidence allegedly captures discussions of tickets or green lights placed on individuals' heads, with Lil Baby specifically named as the person placing these hits.
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on people's heads.
If J-Shot was putting in work based on these alleged tickets, it creates the direct command and execution relationship that prosecutors dream of establishing in organized crime cases. It's no longer just about association. It's about specific bodies allegedly ordered by Lil Baby and carried out by J-Shot. The evidence connecting J-Shot to Lil Baby isn't limited to a few isolated incidents. According to court testimony, their association appears extensive and well documented.
And 4PF has testified already.
Her big thick ass, goofy.
With the good fellas.
Some of these thick assholes, man. You can't trust them hoes, man. That was some funny shit. They work for the feds, locking niggas up.
This testimony establishes J-Shot not just as someone casually connected to Lil Baby, but as a made member of 4PF, the organization allegedly headed by Lil Baby. This organizational connection is crucial for RICO purposes, as it establishes the enterprise element required for such charges. For Lil Baby's defense team, the exposure of J-Shot's alleged role presents formidable challenges. They must now not only counter allegations about Lil Baby's indirect responsibility for violence through a video location, but also directly address evidence about an alleged trigger man operating under his leadership. One potential defense angle involves challenging the characterization of 4PF as a gang and rather than a legitimate record label. Lil Baby's December 2024 decision to rebrand 4PF as Glass Window Entertainment.
Didn't he get rid of the whole 4PF thing? Like,
all of that. So, but
the label name has changed?
Yes.
Could be presented as evidence of its legitimate business nature. This
Got that
rebranding
shit out the
decision
paint
takes on
quick.
new significance in light of the J-Shot revelations.
I mean, you facing 20 years or some shit, nigga. I'm changing that shit 3, nigga. Fuck they talking about?
Connected to alleged criminal activities through J-Shot. Another potential
20 years, bitch. I can change that.
Questioning the credibility of the wiretap evidence and Viverito's interpretations
Got the
of
right
it. During
one,
the
bitch.
ongoing Young Thug YSL trial, Viverito faced significant criticism and judicial scrutiny for her testimony.
At this point, bro, we gotta stop using like Viverito the Vixen as a gang expert or as anybody credible, bro. Like, have y'all forgotten like the YSL trial when even the judge got frustrated at Viverito because Viverito was on that stand, bro, spewing nonsense, dodging questions, being uncredible?
This history could potentially be used to challenge her characterization of J-Shot's role and the significance of the evidence connecting him to Lil Baby. A third potential angle involves highlighting the hearsay nature of the wiretap evidence. The conversations allegedly captured individuals discussing what they believed or had heard about Lil Baby placing bounties, not direct communications from Lil Baby ordering such actions.
They were saying that they had heard that Dominique Jones had tickets on a lot of people's heads.
This creates some wiggle room.
They keep on saying it's ticket
to
shit.
argue that these were just
Nigga, I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
rather than factual accounts of his directives. Despite these potential defense approaches, the J-Shot evidence represents quantum leap in the seriousness of the case against Lil Baby. While previous allegations focused on his indirect responsibility through a provocative video location, the evidence about J-Shot's alleged role creates a more direct connection to bodies, the type of connection that forms the backbone of successful RICO prosecutions. The growing probability of such charges is reflected in reports about preparations by legal authorities.
FBI, open
The
up!
fans trying to do
Lil Baby is
They
good.
trying to-
It's sweet. Over, bruh. When I first seen the initial reports today, I made my calls. And
Okay.
what I was told was, expect for Lil Baby to be indicted on a RICO within 90 days.
That's insane to
You're
me,
probably
bro.
asking yourself, what exactly is Lil Baby out here doing that's going to get him indicted on a RICO charge within 90 days?
Suggests that not only are charges likely to drop, but they could come relatively soon, within the next 3 months. The reference to the feds trying to do a switch indicates that what might have started as a state investigation could potentially be transitioning to federal jurisdiction, which would represent an even more serious escalation. The empire crumbles. After his initial Instagram post dismissing the broader allegations as cap in February 2025, Lil Baby has maintained public silence following the April court testimony featuring J-Shot. This
You haven't heard a
silence
word from Lil
reflects
Baby.
the gravity of the situation. There's simply no easy way to explain away an alleged trigger man connected directly to his set. The industry impact has been swift and devastating. Sources close to the situation report that major streaming platforms have quietly begun removing Lil Baby from playlists. Brand partners have paused or terminated deals, and tour dates have been indefinitely shelved. While few companies want to publicly acknowledge dropping an artist who hasn't been formally charged, the behind-the-scenes exodus reflects the toxic nature of being connected to an alleged shooter involved in violence that resulted in children's deaths. Rumors have swirled about Lil Baby's legal situation intensifying.
Yesterday, they said there was rumors circulating that Lil Baby got arrested. Then it comes to find out, I guess Lil Baby didn't get arrested. So
Well,
I don't think he
it was
got
one
arrested.
cloud chasing girl
Nah, it was multiple people.
I don't think it
No,
was. They said
she started it.
They said Rico. They said
Yeah,
there was a
nah.
Rico.
Nah, they said he was picked up in federal custody.
That's what I'm saying. It was for questioning. Pending.
While these specific rumors about being booked prove premature, they reflect the growing sense that Lil Baby's legal situation is rapidly deteriorating with each new revelation about Jay Shot's alleged activities. The reference to Rico and federal questioning suggests that authorities may be moving toward the type of comprehensive charges that the Jay Shot evidence would support. Behind closed doors, Lil Baby appears to be desperately attempting to distance himself from Jay Shot and the 4PF designation. His December 2024 rebranding of 4PF to Glass Window Entertainment now looks like a prescient move to create separation between his legitimate business and a name that authorities have directly connected to alleged criminal activities through Jay Shot.
All right, y'all. So yesterday we talked about Lil Baby, and you guys had a lot of questions in the room that I couldn't answer at the time because of what was given via the police press conference. So Fox 5 Atlanta has actually retrieved the arrest warrant. So remember I told you guys that yesterday in that press conference when they called out the rapper who they say they're going to make sure, has these consequences because of the part that this person played in what they're now calling this gang war that resulted in multiple deaths. And then there was this arrest warrant that had Dominique Jones' name in it. Dominique Jones is Lil Baby. So that linked him to this conversation. So Fox 5 Atlanta went and retrieved the arrest warrant themselves, and they are now saying that after seeing this arrest warrant, they're able to specifically point to the other gang. Yesterday in that press conference, the police only named one gang, OMF, only My Family, but according to this arrest warrant, 4PF, which is Four Pockets Full, which we know at one time was Baby's label. It was a crew that he was running around with until he changed the name of the label back in 2024 to Glass Window Entertainment. It's also being named as the opposing gang in this rivalry that the police are alleging is going down.
This commentary highlights how authorities have explicitly identified 4PF as a gang in legal documents, making the rebranding potentially significant as a
Real wings have bones.
measure. By distancing himself from the 4PF name, Lil Baby might have been attempting to create separation between his legitimate business activities and a designation that was increasingly being characterized as a criminal organization and now explicitly connected to Jay Shot's alleged body count. For those tracking the legal developments, the combination of Jay Shot's alleged role and the evidence connecting him to Lil Baby creates an almost insurmountable legal challenge. The visual documentation through flicks, music videos, and recovered DMs establishes a comprehensive record of their association that's virtually impossible to deny. And with wiretap evidence allegedly discussing tickets or green lights placed by Lil Baby, the connection to bodies becomes direct rather than merely circumstantial. The legal community appears to be preparing for major developments in the case.
Who manages the Georgia Public Defenders Council specialized unit in gang cases. So the public defenders who handle the gang cases for gang members who can't have attorneys because they can't afford it.
Right.
The public defender office just said the office is actively preparing for racketeering indictment on the 4PF and OMF cases, and that he expects Lil Baby to be indicted with others.
This preparation by the public defender's office is telling. They wouldn't
They're
be
trying to get the head out the
resources
paint.
unless they had
But it's
strong
like,
indications that indictments
Lil Baby might not even be
Lil
like,
Baby
you
and
feel
his
me, controlling all the
associates,
shit.
likely
Let's be
including
honest.
Jay Shot,
You know what I'm
are
saying?
about
They might
to
just be
drop.
locking Lil
Potential
Baby
time
up
facing Lil
for
Baby
nothing.
if charged and convicted in connection with Jay Shot's alleged activities would be serious. Rico convictions typically carry decades-long bids, and with the aggravating factor of violence resulting in deaths, including children, any conviction could effectively end not just his career, but his life as a free man. One music industry observer offered this blunt assessment of Lil Baby's options, given the Jay Shot revelations.
If Lil Baby has to involve the Snitch losing his life, it's over. Like Flacco said, it's done.
Yeah, that nigga Snitch and them two
You know what I
kids.
mean? This is bad, bro. This is not good. In the next 90 days, if I was him, I'd take my Africa somewhere.
Yeah, I said the Bermuda Triangle, bitch.
Had to come find me, cool. I ain't gonna lie to you. I keep rapping in Africa. Do your homework on that. Russia. I'll be in China somewhere with non-extradition. It's a simple Google search away.
While this extreme suggestion of skipping town is unlikely to be part of Lil Baby's actual strategy, it underscores how dire his situation has become with the exposure of Jay Shot's alleged role and the evidence connecting them. The Jay Shot revelations have also raised broader questions about the culture of self-snitching in hip-hop. As one analyst noted,
just a brief interruption, being a criminal is so difficult, bruh. And I hope all you criminals and street dudes is listening, bruh. She just said that they recovered the messages that was sent in disappearing mode. Y'all be thinking that things like Snapchat and Instagram disappearing mode Those things are Fed-proof. They're not Fed-proof at all, bro. Being a criminal is so hard nowadays, bro. The messages that quote-unquote disappeared on Instagram for you is still being hosted. And they was able to pull the messages that was sent in disappearing mode, self-snitching, and use it to indict them on a Rico. Oh my, yo, the streets is cold, bro.
This commentary highlights how the digital documentation that has become standard practice in hip-hop IG posts, music videos, behind-the-scenes footage creates an unprecedented level of vulnerability for artists with any connection to alleged criminal activities. The J-Shot evidence exemplifies this reality. Flicks, videos, and recovered DMs creating an unassailable record of association that forms the foundation for potential criminal charges. Several people from the Atlanta music scene have offered perspectives on the situation.
I just feel like they attacking everybody in hip hop as if
we the real people, the chosen people. They're trying to get us off the paint. The chosen people,
right?
With some voices.
And this situation
You
is
know what I'm
sad.
saying?
It's
Y'all was chosen
almost
people. They're trying to get us off the paint.
It would make a dude from Atlanta not even want to live there, because if you go somewhere to try to do something positive and one of the little idiots, because
this sentiment reflects a belief within the industry that the system may be disproportionately targeting successful rappers. However, the J-Shot evidence presents a particularly difficult case to dismiss as mere targeting. The connections to bodies appear substantial and documented rather than speculative or circumstantial. If formal charges do come, as many now expect given the J-Shot revelations, Lil Baby would face a devastating choice. Fight charges that appear increasingly well supported by evidence about his alleged trigger man, potentially spending years in pretrial detention like Young Thug, or consider cooperating with authorities, which would destroy his street cred and potentially still result in significant time. If you like this video, hit the one on your screen for more, and I'll see you there.
I'll be back. So y'all see it, man? It's always these bitches, man, that is always trying to set niggas up. It be some hoe ass niggas too. I ain't gonna cap. You know what I'm saying? Like OTF Jam and shit. But you know, it's real grimy when you get a BBL bitch with a fat booty, big titties, and the whole time you thinking she trying to really fuck with you and know some things about you, and you trying to crack. The whole time she lined up a whole motherfucking case on your ass to get your ass out the paint. So that's what happened to the Lil Baby. I guess this female must have knew some of the people, got pop, broke down, bitch. And she getting up everything. They got a phone call to my Lil Baby putting out tickets. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug tried to do some little helping. But at this point, you know, because they trying to say that she's a liar. She be lying about everything. She be making up shit just to get a W. You know, it's like, that's what the court does. The court will break their rules, their law, everything, to try to get a W on you. You know what I'm saying? But if you do some shit to try to protect yourself, you the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to say that, you know, they really don't want to see black people with money on. Fame, fortune, a power to the voice, none of that. You know what I'm saying? They want us to be fucked up. But the way society is and how y'all been blessing us and gonna keep on blessing us, we coming up for nothing. And as long as we keep on fighting, we gonna win every time. We out this bitch. Hood, Northside, big crib, gang.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. You know this instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.